What is up, team? All right. Great update today. Exciting stuff. Really exciting stuff. Derrick Evans here, VA Home Loan Specialist, NMLS 155010. Good news for mortgage rates. Going to take a look at that and show what's happening there. And then I've got a little tip, a little trick to share, a little ace up the sleeve, if you will, in this market, which for those who can do it is helping get offers accepted. And very well could be what I'm going to proclaim as the golden ticket, particularly for VA buyers, or a lot of VA buyers, but really any buyer who may not necessarily have a lot of cash on hand trying to get an offer accepted in this market. So let's go and take a quick look here. Let me get rid of this, my one-man production happening. Okay, so this is mortgage bonds. And this is going back to pre-pandemic. You see here all the way on the left, this action over here, pre-pandemic, the crazy madness here was pandemic stuff. And then the Fed came in and said, hey, we'll start buying stuff and we won't stop. And they took it from here and went up this way. Now we had the all-time low rates. You can see we hit the number twice there, and then we hit it twice again. And this was this year. So it happened in August, September last year, and then again around January, February this year. Then since then, we've had this retreat where bonds have gone way down, causing mortgage rates to go up. And now we're sort of on the mend again. So that's sort of the zoomed out version of what's going on. Let's zoom in, because this is where it gets really exciting, especially for today. We'll look at, let's say, we'll do like the 1 month here. Okay, so most important thing, first of all, today we're up 17 basis points. So float into tomorrow. If you have any stones on you, float into tomorrow. Things could look very good. And this is the reason why right here. The reason why I liked locking the last couple of days is because there was a lot more downside than upside, plain and simple. And this is probably the most unlikely outcome of all possible outcomes, what we saw today. But it happened. So here we are. See, the first two times we pierced this moving average, it's a 50-day moving average, so it's no joke. Pierced it, couldn't close above it. Pierced it again, died afterwards, couldn't close above it. This little indecision candle here, usually that means, all right, we're headed down. Nope, didn't happen. Didn't happen. The momentum was going that way, a reversal of fortunes, and now we have closed comfortably above the 50-day moving average. This is big. Now, doesn't mean we're in the clear yet, but we have one more hurdle, this Fibonacci. Now, the 236 on the Fibonacci is not usually that strong. It can be. We'll certainly see a bounce there. But tomorrow, it's also totally possible we could get a big green candle like that. Okay, off of just this action right here and the fact that this is broken, that is going to trigger a lot of people, potentially, a lot of traders, bond investors, people who are flipping these MBSs. That's going to trigger potentially a lot of buyers coming in and going, just give it to me. Whatever it costs. Market orders are likely. So if that happens, you get a big green candle right here, we could see rates move. If we locked you back here, you're going to have a float down opportunity. So very exciting stuff. It's also possible that we could open tomorrow and just get killed. I mean, that's possible. It's unlikely that that would happen, but it could. So I'm more expecting like fireworks tomorrow in the right direction. It's also possible that we could have just a kind of a muted day where we just kind of go up and touch this and then come back and don't have a whole lot. We could have a nothing candle in the next one. If that's the case, then the following one I would expect a fireworks one way or the other. But if we can make it through this, not as difficult of a resistance level as we've just been through, then we are all the way up to the moving averages here, all the way to the 100, and that's the 200-day moving average, and that's what we're looking at next. We get above those guys, we're going to see the all-time lows again. So this slow march back has been a tough one. Today was a huge day. Did not expect this at all. Very, very pleasantly surprised. Rates looking great. I didn't lock anything today. I have 3 that I could have locked. We are floating on all 3. So there's some good news for you. Now, in other news, and by the way, conditions were just right, though. I wanted to make that point. So the Dow being down, when the stock market's down a little bit like this, a fraction of a percent, that's kind of the perfect recipe for mortgage bonds to go higher. So we need a little bit more of that tomorrow or the next day in order to get these moves that I'm talking to you about. And so we'll see. The stock market does appear to be overcooked quite a bit, so it wouldn't be too surprising if we get another 0.5% day down or 1% day down. It wouldn't be too surprising, and wouldn't mean that the rally is off on stocks by any means either. But we did get that today, so I want to make it very clear, that was something that was important. I'm too late to get the oil data, but so be it. All right, so here's the other thing I want to tell you about. So we got great news on mortgage rates. How cool is that? And then golden ticket. What's the golden ticket? Okay, so here's what's going on. Here's how you can take advantage of just sort of the rules, the way things are set up. Potentially a generous family member. Everyone knows about getting a gift. You can get a gift for down payment and closing costs and stuff like that. But a lot of the buyers I work with, VA buyers, for example, or even if you're a conventional buyer, FHA buyer, we do work with everyone, but we focus on the VA home loan benefit. If you don't have an appraisal bridge, and we've talked about appraisal bridge money in this market, which is you're willing to pay above the appraised value to a certain amount if it doesn't meet the purchase price. That is what is getting offers accepted. It's difficult to do that if you've already got all your money into the down payment and into closing costs, or if you're a VA buyer and you really just have closing costs and you don't have too much more than that other than maybe a little security blanket. And so you can't offer $10, $15, $20, $25,000 as an appraisal bridge. Here's what you can do, and I'm calling this the golden ticket, the gift letter. If you have a family member who would be willing to give you the gift if you needed it. Because remember, the difference between a traditional gift is that with a traditional gift, they're pledging the money. They're saying, okay, we're just going to go ahead and give you the money. Did that work? There it is. My volume was off. So we're just going to give you the money. With the appraisal bridge, you may not need it. So if you have a family member, whoever it is, aunt, uncle, grandfather, parents, whatever, who's willing to say, hey, we'll sign a gift letter, we'll show proof of funds for $40,000. And they're willing to you can take that then and go, here, our appraisal bridge is $25,000 or $20,000, whatever. They're getting a gift, here's proof of funds, boom. Then you can use that potential gift as leverage to get your offer accepted. If the appraisal doesn't come in low, then you don't need to call on that gift. You only need to call on that gift if it comes in low, and you have to perform based on that, meaning you're not getting out of it for some other reason. So if you can get the gift and offer the appraisal bridge, see if you need it or not. A lot of these you wouldn't need it. Some appraisals are coming in low, but surprising number of appraisals are coming in at value. It's been a while since I had a Tidewater, guys. And, I do lots of VA deals. So these appraisals are for the most part coming in. In fact, I just had one come in 8,000 above. And so you offer the appraisal bridge to create a certainty for the seller and also a certainty for yourself. You have a certainty that I'm only going to pay above the appraised value this much because that's what I offered. And the seller knows, hey, I have this insurance that if the appraisal doesn't come in, I'm still going to sell my place for X number of dollars above what it appraises for. So it gives both sides certainty. It's nice. And then if the appraisal doesn't come in, then you have to figure it out. But if it does, then you can just say, hey, thanks, aunt and uncle, for offering the gift. We don't need it. So this could really be the golden ticket. I think it's also easier to ask a family member for a potential gift than it is to ask for an outright gift. If you went to someone that you know and you said, would you borrow me $1,000? Or lend me $1,000, borrow me. What's wrong with me? They may say, gosh, that's tough. What do you need it for? They ask all the questions. Hey, if I needed it, if I was really in a pickle, would you loan me $1,000? You're going to get more yeses for that, right? So I think it's an easier ask for the buyers. I think it's a win-win situation across the board for everyone involved, and very well may be the golden ticket that's needed. I've been trying to figure out what's the golden ticket. What is the way in? How do we do this without appraisal bridges? I don't think you can. It's too much demand, too many offers. It's that simple. Too many offers. When there's that many offers, it's sort of fuel to the fire that's already there. Now, you have too many people who are willing to pay more than what the appraised value is. And when they learn that there's 20 offers on the property, or 18 offers on the property, or 38 offers on the property, it just makes them that much more aggressive. So if you're sitting there with no appraisal bridge money, trying to offer a higher price, you may as well not even do it. The listing agent's going to have an idea what it'll appraise for, so that your offer that you're running up isn't doing any good. They're not giving it any respect because it's not backed up by the appraisal bridge. So that is the key. Hey, there's a good comment here from Kathy Cole. So the key to this is getting the appraisal back before your inspection contingency is removed. And yeah, no question. There's no question. If you're waiving the appraisal contingency, or you're, doing the appraisal bridge like we discussed, there are other ways to get out of the transaction if something's not looking right. But for the most part, you're assuming those things go well, you want to be pretty committed to the transaction. If you get it back, if you get the appraisal back before the inspection contingency is up, then you can use that potentially to get out of it, because every house has stuff that's wrong with it, except for maybe new construction. But in San Diego, a lot of these houses are 30, 40, 50 years old. There's going to be stuff wrong with it. So being able to get out of the inspection contingency is still a possibility. But, and there's lots of things you can do if things don't go well. But what I'm focused on with this particular video and this content is helping you get the offer accepted in the first place. Because that's really how, in order to win, we have to get an at bat. In order to get an at bat, we've got to get an offer accepted. A lot of people are having trouble with this. Although I will say, recently, including today, aka last night, one of the buyers who's been out there for months and months and months trying so hard finally got into escrow. Very, very, very cool. I'm so excited for him and his lady. And, hopefully all the appraisal and inspections go well. But that part, we just kind of say, all right, hey, that's what those things are there for. We got to see what happens, see if everybody can be on the same page about repairs or whatever it may be. But the key is, let's get the offer accepted. How are we going to get the offer accepted? We're going to need more than just a high price. We're going to need more than just a good credit score. We're going to need more than DU. We're going to need more than proof of funds. We're going to need more than an experienced lender calling and saying this is an easy deal to do. We're going to need more than that. We're going to need money on the line beyond the EMD to buffer potentially low appraisal. And this is, I think, a way that you can do it that's a little bit easier than going and asking for an outright gift, and also makes a buyer who may have looked weak very strong with one piece of paper and then a verification of the funds. So let's call it the golden ticket. Let's call it, the appraisal bridge hack. But this is a way that you can get your offers accepted and come through if you need to by having someone there ready to step in on behalf of your buyer. So if you have the ability to do that, if you have a buyer that you're working with who's had trouble getting in, maybe look at something like this. I was able to find just the first couple people I talked about this. They're like, oh yeah, I could probably get a gift from this, but we don't need it. We don't, we should be able to buy this. You should, and you can, and you qualify and all that. But if you don't have money to back up the appraisal, it's going to be very difficult to get a listing agent to pay attention to you. Now, some people are getting lucky. Some people are really, really good. I've had a couple agents recently call me, and I haven't even been involved in the offer. Just like, hey, we're going to get one accepted. I didn't even know we wrote an offer. So there are certain times where an agent's just going to be so good, they're going to make the connection, they're going to make it happen. But aside from that, in a normal progression of possibilities in out there writing offers after offer after offer, offering the appraisal bridge is ultimately the way to get yourself to rise to the top, to get your offer to go into the pile. Listing agents get these offers. It's like opening the mail. Junk pile, open later pile. So we got to get in the open later pile if we want to get a counter. A lot of these listing agents are only countering like 3 or 4 offers. They get 30 or 40. They don't care. Top 3 or 4 are getting countered. Everybody else, you're getting the copy paste email. Hey, our sellers have decided to select another offer. Thanks for playing. So if we want to stop getting those, we got to do something. We got to change something. And I think with these particular conditions in the market, this is the best thing to do. Figure out how you can do an appraisal bridge. You can do it with gift funds, totally okay. Every loan program, totally okay. Appraisal bridge with gift funds very well could be the golden ticket. And great news on interest rates. I'll follow up again tomorrow, let you know how that looks, because tomorrow is going to really tell the tale whether today is a head fake, whether this action that is so pretty. Oh, it's so pretty. Look at that. Boom, right through it. Knife through butter. Got right through that super crucial resistance at the 50-day moving average, and then this is, I tell you, I got to tell you, this is a really good sign. I mean, I just can't express enough how strong the sign is. A couple other reasons. You see these wicks down here. These wicks are a cause of that moving average. But look, you knock on the door. A lot of times when you come up to these big ceilings of resistance, you knock on the door multiple times before you get let in. In this case, we knocked once, knocked twice, took a day of pause. Hey, is this going to sell off? No, it didn't. Bulls back in. Brrr, run it right up. So knock, boom, we're in. And so that's a really bullish sign. Really good action. It could always be a head fake. You never know with the financial markets if the technical analysis will come through. But I got to tell you that is a really good looking sign. Everything about the last 4-5 days, the way that it has laid out, looks really good. It looks like sellers are gone. Like sellers could have killed it on this day. They didn't. Sellers could have killed it on this day. They didn't. You see, these are just little tiny wicks, just little tiny candles. There was plenty of room to bully these bonds lower, and it didn't happen. So maybe the sellers are all done finally, for goodness sakes. I mean, it's been, weeks and weeks and weeks of selling. Weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Since the beginning of the year. I mean, this is January, right back here. That's January, down, back up, hit the all-time lows again. And then since then, January 27th, it's just been a bloodbath. And we're finally recovering from it. So it's time. It's time for us to see some things happen that are a little bit more bullish. And I think we are finally getting that. Hallelujah. Can't find the button. We are there. All right, team. Share this video with your friends if you want to make them smarter than everyone else, and float those loans into tomorrow. Let's see how low can you go. I'll see you then.